All right then. White Noise taking that, just edging past right there, very even game. That's definitely one of the games where the points really matter. If you're Red Federation now, you can't be feeling too terribly about next round.
No, I think that's a good result. I mean, obviously you'd rather win, but in these group stages, making sure you get a lot of points in each round is going to be a big deal. And they got enough that they're certainly got a good shot going forward, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. I think that I wasn't really in love with the setup RVVPL did, but I really want them to do well because they're sort of like, I hope they're my little Cinderella story. They do really well. Right. And I also think they kind of were a little ballsy not fielding the Scimitar with that setup, that as most people have been fielding. But obviously did okay for them. They didn't take the win, but they did pretty well. They got a lot of points.
So you say you don't like the setup. This was the Caldari Kite team, as some people say. So what is the Caldari Kite team?
Any team that's focused a lot on Tengus and Drakes and spends a lot of time avoiding the other team and shooting missiles from far away. And usually it's going to be damps to help keep that distance, keep the lock distance anyway so that you don't take any damage. Yeah. And there seems to be several, I mean, Zastro was sort of saying, this is the same setup we've seen. But it's actually, I mean, there's a lot of different iterations of it. There's like this, like you said, this one has no Scimitar. It had a Ferox.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of different versions of it, and we've seen probably 4 now. But it's always been a popular archetype.
No, yeah, it's very popular, but it's not super fun to watch. And we also see a lot of it. It was what ruled in the prelims because you were playing in the same size arena, but with half the people, so you could kite much more effectively. It's a little more crowded in the 10-on-10, but it's still proving to be pretty effective in getting people a lot of points, even if it doesn't get them the win.
All right. Flagships. We thought they had a flagship. They named it kind of like their flagship, and we basically just jumped on it and thought it was a flagship.
Yeah.
That's a clever move.
I guess it seems a lot more clever when they had to disclose fittings.
Yeah.
But since no one has to say fittings, you're only making them think that you have faction mods on it, I guess, but actually you don't. I guess that's
the thing is maybe because the way the restrictions for faction officer fittings is that you can't fit hardeners, so they're not really super. If you could fit faction hardeners, they would be incredible. But they have you can fit faction officer reps or double large armor reps, so it would be very conducive. People might think you can get oh, I could get that Balgorn into armor, and then would just wrap its way back up, and I would waste all this time.
Yeah,
so
maybe you trick them into not shooting it as much because you expect the tank to be stronger, but you might also trick them into shooting it because they would expect nicer offensive mods. I don't know.
I think any level, at some point, any level of deception or confusion that you can perpetrate, even if it's almost purposeless, if you spend time confusing the other FC, even if it doesn't give you an edge in the fleet fit, if the other FC's is that, oh, hold on, let me figure out if that's the flagship. He's wasting time thinking about when he could be thinking about, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. It's making him flustered.
Fair enough.
I think as long as you're not giving anything up by doing that. If you have an opportunity to cause confusion at no cost to your team, great. But if they're oh, we got a cool trick with the Balgorn, that'll kind of be our,
if it's just him setting name at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
If we can grab 1 or 2 more from the forums here. Spirantes asks, in the tournament, is the Ishkur the only worthwhile assault frigate to use?
I think that the thing about the Ishkur is that the drones are very useful, and the other assault frigates are not particularly great. I'm a big Jaguar fan, but you can't use the Wolf because it doesn't really have the mid slots to be an effective tackler, and the Jaguar just doesn't have the multi-purpose use that an Ishkur might have. An Ishkur can chase down other frigates pretty well. Better probably than the Jaguar.
I think the drones have to be the selling point because the Jag has 4 mids, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But
I mean, with the Ishkur, you get mids, you get 5 drones.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, it's good. It's funny though. I feel like there's the assumption that the Ishkur is a valuable ship in the tournament at the start of that, which I don't know if that's fair.
No, it's just...
It might be the best assault frig for the tournament.
Yes.
But
probably true.
in a way, I don't think the rest of the assault ships might be that far behind. It's just the assault ships in general are kind of weak in the tournament.
Yeah, it used to be really popular when we had more drone setups.
Yeah.
That would be like your stuffer, small ship, for good reason.
Why didn't there... There's so many smart bombs around now.
Mm-hmm.
And when there was drone setups before, I mean, were the Ishkars... Was it because all the reps were coming from drones? Like, was it a lot of shield bots?
There was a lot of EW drones as well.
Okay.
It's just like a swarm of jamming.
I feel like now a lot of light drones would just get wiped out really quick.
A little bit.
I think even after watching today, the teams that don't have a smart bomb component in their fits are seeing some of these matches where rep drones, particularly repping the Logi, have just made it's taken them 3 times as long to kill a scimitar because it has 5 heavy shield transfer drones on it, and it's just...
Nobody's had heavies.
Well,
but mediums.
It's had drones that repping its shield.
Drones, absolutely, Michael Bolton.
Brian21 says, can you comment on the lack of Drakes compared to other battle cruisers? I think I kind of just disagree with that question. Isn't there? Aren't we seeing a ton of Drakes?
Yeah.
As always.
There's been kind of normal representation. Mm-hmm. I think, like Ravy said, the Slipner and kind of the other Matar battle cruisers might be getting more and more representation because they're just clearly so strong. Yeah. But there's been a lot of Drakes. Do we need more?
There has. No, let's have less of them.
I don't think. I don't think to myself like, if someone said like Myrmidons. Yeah, like I'd be like, I haven't seen any Myrmidons, but like Drakes, I see plenty of Drakes. I'm not like upset with the lack of them.
Before we go into the next match, I'd just quickly like to apologize to the EVE community because I've sadly misled and lied to you.
You mean the bicycle?
No, not the bicycle.
Okay,
I was completely truthful about the invisible bicycle that I'm auctioning off. Okay. No, I did say that the next contest is on the forums, but it is actually on Facebook. So if you go to the EVE Online Facebook, you'll find the questions posed by CCP Navigator, and from there you'll be able to win some of the sweet prizes we have up. It's just a quick correction. Just want to iron out any indifferences that may have been caused by this. Next one, Babylon 5 and Solar Fleet, or as CCP Shrieks call them, Solar Feet.
Yes.
For one reason or another. Who do you think is going to win this one, Michael Bolton?
Babylon 5 has 2 dots, and used to live in Fountain, I think. But Solar Fleet is Solar Fleet, so I'm going to go with Solar Fleet.
All right.
Yeah, I just have to assume they're the better team since they've been around a while.
I'm from California. I have to pick Solar Fleet.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to grab that one as well. That does seem like a good one. I was a little bit excited about going into this match, but I've just been told that we have a slight technical issue.
Uh-oh.
Apparently one of the wrecks in the arena refuses to go away. It's just a bit of a strange issue, but nonetheless an issue. So once they get that arena just completely cleaned out, we can go over and talk to them. I think we'll be joined by Shadu after this match.
Thank goodness. That guy is amazing.
He is, but I mean, so is Infidel.
He is.
Yeah.
All of our guests are amazing.
It's true. So this is our last chance to talk to Infidel. Anything here just before you leave?
A couple things. Mm-hmm. One is focusing on virtual goods again for a moment. Why are we even getting into this? You know, what does that add to the game, or what does it add for CCP, or why even bother? What's the strategy?
Is it so I can get a hat of pure gold?
That hadn't occurred to us, actually.
I was hoping.
What it is, it's a couple things. One is there are people who treat this as a game, and there are people who treat this as a hobby. And the people who treat it as a hobby, if they've got extra money to spend and they're used to spending it on their hobbies, they enjoy putting it into something like this, getting a little something special. Customizing their character can increase their emotional attachment to the game and make them enjoy the whole thing a little bit more. So we want to give them the opportunity if they want it. Secondly, for our role players in the group, this opens up a number of little options for them too, and makes the station experience more fun, and actually will make some of the flying in space more fun as well. A little surprise coming on that. And then finally, the whole industry is changing over time, and we need to at least stay in touch with what's going on, keep up with the learning curve so that we don't fall behind as a company. We have to keep up with the latest stuff. But try it out, check it out. Also, keep in mind that we're listening to what you're saying on the forums. We are listening to the CSM talking. I talk almost every day with them on the forums. We're going to slow down a little bit compared to what you read in the dev blog, compared to what we've told you so far. We've heard from you that we want to go a little bit slower. So we're going to put a couple things in place to just protect the economy and go a little bit slower, and then unlock things as we go. So be prepared for a little bit of a game time changes in 2 weeks.
I'm looking forward to it. When I play games,
Yes, sir.
it tends to happen. I really like them, and I don't really mind putting more money into it. So I put a lot of money into other good games that I really like. I really like League of Legends, I really like World of Tanks, and I don't at all mind spending money. But I can't really in EVE Online. I can buy more accounts, which I do. I have 4 of them.
Or you could buy Plex and
Plex.
you know, and therefore ISK.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if you just tell yourself, look, I'm only going to spend beer money on this, then what's the difference?
Yeah. And I mean, why should I be able to buy a dress in League of Legends and not in EVE Online? If I enjoy dresses, I mean, that may be my thing. Who knows? Anyway.
Well, you do enjoy dresses in real life as well.
Everywhere. Who doesn't enjoy a good dress?
I know I
But
do.
let's get out of our personal hobbies. We might have some stats on screen, or at least a few numbers. This is our surprisingly sometimes accurate stat sheet. This one actually looks relatively accurate. This is Babylon 5 versus Solar Fleet. These are the 2 different alliances. Babylon 5, they don't have an alliance logo. That was mentioned before as one of the things that subtracts your ability to win. We've actually only had 1 alliance with no alliance logo win today. Anything interesting here?
Yeah.
They've spent around...
Babylon 5 lost a match.
That's true.
They
Solar
lost more
Fleet.
points overall.
Yeah, but they're still around the same ISK total.
They're a quarter the size.
Yeah, a little bit. Solar Fleet are, of course, a big sub-holding entity. Babylon 5, not so much.
Solar Fleet was founded during the month I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, not during the year you were born, though.
No.
All right.
Kilter's actually 3 years old.
And they're both around 1.5 billion in alliance tournament spending so far. Those are the 2 next teams up. 1.6 billion. That doesn't really sound that bad. We had Shidu in here, and Shidu was talking about PL's budget for the tournament, and he said their usual budget allocation is around 1 to 200 billion minimum.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind that was only 10 ships in the prelims.
Yeah.
You're fielding 10 ships in every match you show up for for 4 days for the entire tournament. And if you make it to the final day, make it to Sunday, you're playing multiple matches in that one day. So it scales up very quickly.
It certainly does. All right, well, let's see who gets to replace their ships and who gets to shoot said ships. It's Babylon 5 versus Solar Fleet. I'm on Solar Fleet.
I am on Solar Fleet as well.
Sure.
Now that I've seen how much smaller the alliance is, I'm going to vote for Babylon 5.
You're a good man, Rick. All right, let's see.